If you're a podcast host, listen up, this one's for you. My name is Allie Jackson. I'm the host of Finding Mr. Height, a dating and relationship podcast that I've been doing for 4 years now, sharing my positive and practical approach to dating that's built on my own life experience. And I wanted to share another experience that I've had, my secret behind monetizing my show. It's called Red Circle, and I was just telling my colleague about how much I love their platform. With Red Circle, not only am I getting a seamless hosting experience, but I also love the support I receive in ad sales. It's not just typical ad sales either. It's targeted opportunities based on my show and my life. And the platform is super simple. You just set your preferences and Red Circle matches you with sponsors that align with your show. You can vet every opportunity and their platform gives you great analytics. More recently too, my Red Circle team has brought me opportunities outside of my podcast on social media to really augment the podcast partnerships, bring them full circle. I just can't recommend them enough. If you want to give it a try, go to redcircle.com to get your free trial. That's redcircle.com for a free trial.
Hello, kitties. This is yours truly, the Crypt Keeper, and you're listening to Slasher Radio.
Welcome to Slasher Radio with the host Mikey Bones, Rob Humphrey, and Kat Valor. We're back, guys. What's going on? What's up?
No.
Whoop. The hell is wrong with you?
I just never know what's going to come out of Rob's mouth.
I'm trying new things. You didn't like the butt nugget thing.
No.
Well, I was trying that.
All right.
I feel like you've tried that before, and we didn't like it.
Fuck, I can't remember what you guys
I don't
didn't
feel like
like.
I've ever heard that sound ever in my life. So.
All right. We are back this week. We have a bunch of stuff to get to. We have a Patreon pick. Obviously, 2001 Maniacs. We're going to be talking later on. That's the movie topic for this week. We're going to get to Drink Roll Call. We have a text message. And we do have a little bit to talk about beforehand. So we do have a full episode this week. Sad news.
Yeah, really rough news this week, guys.
Yeah. Passing of Tony Todd by now. I'm sure everybody knows about it. As we're recording this, it just came out yesterday publicly, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm speechless.
Yeah, this was a tough one. And I found out from Tasha, who...
I found out like a couple minutes before Tasha sent me a message about it. It was like, she was on it though. She knew. Yeah,
she sent me a thing and she was like, and you heard about Tony Todd, right? And I was like, what? What about Tony Todd? And she's like, he died. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Yeah, it's real sad. Like, he's going to be missed. Like, I was talking about this a little bit in Greg's live earlier. We were talking about, actually, it started off talking about Bill Moseley and how Bill Moseley is a super talented actor, but sometimes I think he doesn't know how to say no. And so he ends up in a lot of movies that, quite frankly, don't deserve Bill Moseley.
He's also the guy, dude, he must make a nice check from those things, though.
Yeah, maybe.
Like, he's not one of those high, like Tony Todd, Final Destination. Or, he doesn't really have many of those.
Right. But I feel like Tony Todd was kind of the same way. Like, Tony Todd's in a lot of movies that don't really deserve Tony Todd.
Oh, okay. That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
Checks,
but I always enjoyed seeing him, like no matter how bad the movie that he's in is, he was always going to fucking deliver.
I was talking to my mom about this morning because we fight a lot about the movie Shadow Puppets. I don't know if anybody remembers Shadow Puppets. It's terrible. For whatever reason, is one of my mom's favorite movies. But the one nice thing I can always say about it is that Tony Todd gives like a really fantastic performance in a movie that just like he didn't need to be there. And we've talked about this a couple times before, I guess mostly on the Patreon, because every now and then we'll do a Memorial Killer Beats episode, but it's hard to predict which celebrity deaths are going to hit hard. This one I feel could have predicted because he was so nice and friendly and approachable, and just everybody has so many nice things to say about him. And it's been a rough one.
Yeah, I've told this on the show before. Like, the happiest I ever was, I think, was when I got an alert on my phone at like 2 a.m. that woke me up And I was like, what the hell is this? And it was just a notification. Tony Todd followed you back on Twitter.
Yeah.
He was great on Twitter. I loved it. He was always sharing music that he liked and stuff. Yeah, it's a rough one. There's no doubt about that. I really, really liked him. I was fortunate enough to meet him one time at a con, and he was super nice and everything. So yeah, he's going to be missed.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Tony Todd, former guest of this show, long time ago, me and him DM'd every once in a while, man. We would talk about basketball. And after he did the show, that's kind of what it was, that we would joke on Twitter about basketball. And kind of like Rob, like he followed me back shortly after that. And I was like, holy shit. And we would just joke about basketball really. And every now and then, he'd pop up in something and I'd tell him how fucking great he was in it. He was just, because he always was. And I was always, man. And I was always in awe of it. It's kind of like what you guys are talking about. Sometimes Scream TV series specifically.
Yeah, I was thinking terrible. I was thinking of Hellfest.
Well, that too, yeah.
Hellfest, yeah.
Is a movie that I don't really like it. I finally went back and rewatched it because I heard people telling me it was good, and I actually don't like the movie at all. But he has a very small role in the movie. He's hardly in it.
The best part of the movie, though.
Yeah, he's the one thing I really remember about Hellfest because he's playing like that master of ceremonies or whatever, and he's just so good at it. And that was Tony Todd. Like he was always, no matter how small the role, no matter how good or bad the movie, he was always consistently fucking great.
Yeah. And that was always the thing with it, man. The Scream, I agree that Hellfest, yeah, but Scream as well, the TV series guy was like, man, this is terrible. But you know what, dude? He fucking showed up and he did his thing.
Yeah.
And to just above and beyond. And it's like, damn, dude, this guy really just doesn't give a fuck what he's in, man. It's his, and he's a theater actor as well that I feel like gets overlooked a lot. And the art of it is so important to him. And it always was. And I've always admired that dude. And yeah, every now and then he'd be in something and I would just DM be like, dude, great job. Thanks for the performance, and because his performances commanded that. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like a lot of actors, you just see them in something and you're like, oh, they did good. Like I like seeing them because, for whatever reason. But him, you can appreciate Tony when in his roles and just a true, obviously everybody's in this to make money, like I was joking about earlier, but he's not in it just to make money. Like he truly, the art of acting is where his roots of it always were. And you can just always tell, man, and just such a nice dude and just a regular ass dude.
Yeah.
Like he would just sit there and talk shit about basketball players' teams, dude. It's like, damn, bro, you're roasted by Candyman, but that's just him. Like he's just a real ass dude. And that's what I loved about him the most, man. And yeah, this sucks.
Yeah. And he had great work beyond the horror genre too.
Yeah.
He was in Platoon. He had kind of a smaller role in The Rock, but he's in there. He was always great.
He was actually one of the first celebrities that I ever met because he used to attend. He used to speak at a lot of Star Trek conventions, which is how my parents knew him. He's on Star Trek.
All right, look, I know we're trying to be serious and talk about Tony Todd and all. The picture of Kat at a Star Trek convention is going to live with me for a long time.
Yeah, when I was just a little kid.
But honestly,
he was on Star Trek? I literally.
Yeah, he was on Star Trek.
All right, I know nothing about Star Trek. Now I know two things about Star Trek. Tony Todd was on it, and
he was on Voyager.
Captain Kirk was used for the mask for Michael Myers. That's what I know about Star Trek.
But dude, and honestly too, a huge loss for anyone who followed him on Twitter, because he was a good time. He would always post stuff about music, and a lot of shit I've just tagged Rob in because I'm just like, this seems like some Rob shit. So he had a very in tune taste in his music and he loved sharing it. Pictures of himself. He was always such a stylish motherfucker. Dude, he put out a picture not too long ago and he had a chain on that said GOAT. Yeah. And I was like, damn, bro. Like that. He was just such a fucking boss, dude.
Yeah, he was great. And he would, he would interact on Twitter too. I think, I know he liked or responded to a couple of my tweets over the years or whatever. Yeah, just a really nice guy and super, super talented. And it's a big loss. And it came out of nowhere. That's the other thing, he was 68 years old, I think, which isn't, in this day and age isn't that old, so it wasn't like, somebody who's in their 80s dies and you kind of go, well, he's in his 80s. He was still, fairly young, and he seemed like he was in good health. Like, I never saw him look sickly or anything. Yeah. He always looked great.
Always looked great.
Yeah. It just kind of came out of nowhere. But yeah, it's definitely a big loss.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you guys are subscribed to us on YouTube, I'm going to be re-releasing our interview with him a while ago, just kind of, saying some nice words or whatever. And, just a tribute to him.
Who's on that? Is that you and Crap Pants?
Yes. And Dismay was also on that one as well. Yeah. Yeah. So they will not be getting credited. No.
Come on now.
No. But no, it was a great conversation though, is the thing. And I feel like obviously we talked about Candyman, sure. And I got yelled at by him for the whole Leprechaun and Leatherface thing.
He didn't want nothing to do with that shit.
He was insulted. But it was truly like, obviously we touched on those things, like Candyman's always going to come up. But it was like we learned out how he rescues cats and everything. Like it was just him. It was a lot of him as the human being. And I don't want that to get lost and I don't think the horror genre is the genre that does it the most. I feel like we're probably the most respectful of separating the person from the work in moments like this, because his work was great and a lot of it was iconic and will live on forever. But dude, he was such a good person. And I feel like Tony Todd needs to be remembered instead of Candyman right now.
Yeah, I think you're right. Although I did like this tweet. I don't know if you guys saw it from Bernard Rose, who made Candyman. He had a picture of Tony Todd, and he said, and I thought this was great. He said, there have been thousands of zombies, hundreds of Draculas, dozens of Frankenstein's monsters, 10 Jason Voorhees, 9 Michael Myers, 7 Leatherfaces, 2 Freddy Kruegers, and only 1 Candyman.
You goddamn right.
Yeah. Candyman is what he will, I think, mostly be remembered for. And you know what? I think that's a great legacy.
That's fine. Yeah.
Candyman is... We've talked about this before. Candyman is probably the most sympathetic of all the killers in horror movies, I think.
Partly because of him and story, obviously, but yeah.
But his portrayal of Candyman is incredible. Right. So yeah, I think having Candyman alone as your legacy is a great legacy. He also has all this other work that he did, and he never phoned it in. He was always fantastic.
Yeah. And honestly, too, we talk about sequels and everything like that. And we always say Candyman 2 is really good. And Candyman 3, I've been meaning to rewatch it for a while. Now's a better time than ever. But I remember that being pretty good.
I don't think I ever saw the third one. I really do like the second one, though.
I just rewatched the third one recently because it was hard to find on streaming for several years. And I think it's on Peacock now that has it. But I saw it pop up the other day and I rewatched it. And it's all the stuff that we said. I don't think it's as good as the first two, but his performance in it is it's exceptional, and there are long stretches at the beginning where not a lot happens, but he steps onto the screen and it's like, man, it feels like you're watching more Candyman.
And I truly believe that no one, like, that was made to be his role. Like he was meant to play that role because it was just so perfect, man. Because you run into especially in the slasher genre, you got, your Jasons and your Leatherfaces and Freddys, and there's so much fun and just really just a good time and gore and blood. And, that's what we look forward to. Candyman was such a sophisticated horror film and slasher film. And Tony Candyman himself was, the character was such a sophisticated killer and antagonist in those movies. And man, Tony Todd was just perfect for that role because that's him, dude. Like high intelligence, class, but will whoop your ass. And that was always Tony Todd's attitude, dude. And that was perfect for Candyman. I truly feel like I don't believe this movie would have taken off the way it did and become such a top shelf classic the way it has if anyone else was playing that role. I don't think so.
Yeah, it's impossible for me to picture anyone else in that role. It just is.
Yeah, so this one, this was hard, man.
I'm not going to read any more stuff because Rob read the Bernard Rose quote, and also because I don't trust myself not to cry on the podcast. But Virginia Madsen also posted a really lovely thing over on Instagram if anybody wants to look at that later. But it's all the same stuff we've been saying. Like, he was fantastic in the role. He was good with fans. He was a good person.
Yeah, man.
He's going to be missed.
There's some people that you hear, and what's his name? I can't believe Bruce Campbell. Is a good example. Like, you hear a lot of different things. Tom Savini as well, but you never hear that about Tony Todd. I've never. ever.
No. I've never heard anybody say anything bad about Tony Todd. And when you hear these things, like I kind of hear these things about Bruce Campbell or Tom Savini, as you said, and I typically give people a pass, right? Like, maybe they're having a bad day, right? Because they're people too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they're allowed to have a bad day. I mean, that's just how it goes.
It's like a memorable day for the fan, but if you do like 100 of these cons a year or whatever,
it's just Saturday, right? Like it's and but Tony Todd, you never ever hear that about.
Never.
And I met him just briefly and at a con, and he couldn't have been nicer. And I can't imagine anyone coming away with a bad story about meeting Tony Todd.
Yeah. This one sucks. It makes you, because he always was supposed to come back on the show, and a while back he was moving, and that was like a big deal. So we were in and out of scheduling it, and I already know he doesn't like doing these things. So, I really didn't like when I do talk to people every now and again, other than probably Damien Maffei. Like, I don't mind. I will message him and just be like, dude, come on. Other than him, it's just that kind of, like, I wish I would have pressed it a little bit, because it would have been really nice because it's just a learning tree, man, listening to him speak. Like, the guy is just so, he's on another level in acting, and just the way he's fallen into that icon role that he has. Like, he's just, I don't know. He was just amazing at everything he did, man. And listening to him, it would have been nice to get one more, but not meant to be one way or another. But yeah, dude, legend, icon. This one sucks. But you know what? Perfect segue. This drink roll call is dedicated to Tony Todd. We're going to cheers to Tony Todd. Yeah. So what are you guys drinking?
So I found a couple of cans of Cutwater in my refrigerator that I didn't know were there. So I opened up, I reached back and grabbed the first one I touched, and it was a Cutwater transfusion. So that's what we're going with now. And if I finish this one, we'll go back and maybe blind pull another one out and see what it is.
Oh boy. Rob, be careful.
How was, motherfucker?
Be careful. I know. I am drinking store brand cola, not even Coca-Cola. I'm drinking.
Lord, man.
Yeah. You know what? Actually, hold on. Kat, tell everybody what you're drinking, and I'm going to be back in 2 seconds.
All right. I'm also actually drinking a blind pull. As some of you may have seen on Twitter this past week, I played the substance drinking game. I got it in my head, first of all, that I didn't want to die from drinking normal alcohol playing it. Mm-hmm. So I went to pick up something that was lower alcohol content. I decided I also wanted to pick up something green. Unfortunately, the only green low alcohol content drink that I found was Seagram's Escapes margaritas, which you can only get in a giant variety pack of Seagram's Escapes.
Isn't that annoying when they do that shit? Yeah.
And I wanted a picture with the green glass and everything, and I got it. But it did leave me with like an entire fridge full of like very, very girly drinks. I pulled one at random. I got a passion fruit mango.
Oh, that sounds like something Mikey would love to drink.
Get that mango away from me.
I thought
my earlier one was watermelon, actually, the one I was drinking during the Patreon.
When you said you went low strength green, I thought you were going to say you bought a bottle of Midori.
I thought about it because I was like, I had the Seagrams picked up like this giant box of it. And it's like, I have to be able to find something else. Like, even if I have to put it in a mixer, I thought about doing like margaritas, maybe just like making margaritas at home. But I don't know. I finally went for it, and they've been, fun to have. They take up literally my whole fridge, though. I'm trying to make it through them.
I think I'll be honest with you. Midori sours are really good. You just have to drink like about 100 of them to get a buzz.
That was a little bit too low of an alcohol content.
Yeah.
Because I played with the Seagrams and I was, fine. And everyone, it's really funny. A lot of people, because I did like the live tweet of the movie, and people were like in my DMs, they're like, Kat, are you okay? Like, you're drinking a lot. And I'm like, I'm great. I'm drinking a lot of Seagram's Escapes. Like, I'm going to be okay.
That's right. Rob, random question. How would you feel if I drank Hypnotic on Drink Roll Call for the show?
I mean,
do it.
Yeah, if you want.
It's so pretty.
I guess it is a very pretty drink. I've never had it. I don't know what it tastes like, but
really,
it's pretty good.
Hypnotic's gonna be. I can't believe you didn't go through the thing. Like me and my friends, when we were young, we weren't even old enough to drink, but we had to get our hands on a bottle of Hypnotic.
Yeah,
it was blue, fucking blue. Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's like that, like a real bright blue, right?
Yeah, blue.
Yeah. I never had it. I worked at a bar and we had a bottle of it that no one ever ordered. Like it just sat there.
All right, maybe one day. All right, I am drinking. I have my last can of Pepsi Nitro.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, and everybody remembers me and Kat's horror chord, the first horror chord of a Drink Roll Call. It was because every time we opened one of these damn cans, they exploded, man.
Mm-hmm.
And Rob, you got them recently.
I did. I bought a 4-pack of the vanilla ones. Came right home. But I let it. It was in the refrigerator like overnight. Like I didn't open it right away because it says let it get cold, right? But the next day I opened one, no problem. Not an issue. No problems. Not an issue at all. And also, my mother said she drinks them all the time and never has this issue.
That might be a thing. What?
That's insane to me. Because I will say I've never had one and like taken it home and put it in the fridge. But both of the ones that I had, I got from the refrigerated section, like by the checkout.
I bought the 4-pack and it was like on the shelf. So I knew I had to put it in the refrigerator and I just let it sit. And then the next day I came home and opened one. Not an issue.
No problem.
And I'm guessing my mom does it the same way. She probably buys a pack at the store on the, from the shelf, but she's said she's never, ever had this issue either.
And Mrs. Kat's mom, we received a voicemail from you, which I was very excited. The problem was we were getting, and I don't know if it was, maybe that's what she was talking about, Rob. But she was saying something and we couldn't understand it because it was, I don't know, something with the audio was all messed up. So Mrs. Rob's mom, leave another voicemail. That would be very nice. Say something embarrassing about Rob. It'd be great.
She did,
I meant to tell her that. I meant to tell her that the audio was all garbled up for some reason.
Yeah. And I knew you didn't, which is why I have to take time out of the show to do it now, Rob.
I meant to do it. I just kind of forgot.
I knew you would. Why I'm here talking to your mom right now because you don't know how to remember anything.
But yeah, that is probably what she was calling to yell at you guys about. Like she's never had the problem at all. I'm thinking maybe both of you need to go get tested for Parkinson's.
No. Okay. But this one, I had the 2 explode on me, which is when I had the whole bitch fest on the show. I had one in between then. No problems. I opened it. It was fine. So
was it in the fridge first?
It was sitting in the fridge.
Is that the secret?
That might be the key, which is ridiculous because sometimes you just let a can of soda sit. You can't expect it to be cold, Pepsi.
It says right on the packaging, make sure it's cold.
Besides the point. All right, I'm going to open this live on the show, though. I didn't open it yet. So let's see. If this makes a mess on my fucking desk, I'm going to be so mad. Here we go. Oh, shit. Holy shit. Nothing.
Okay, here's the new question. Can I sue the Giant Eagle for not making their Nitro Pepsis cold enough from the fridge?
I mean, I don't know.
That's what
It probably isn't worth the court cost to sue them for the $6 or whatever you spent like in Pepsi Nitro.
Well, speaking of not worth, this thing's still mid, though, regardless of the point. It's still mid.
I will admit that. I bought the vanilla ones because those were the only ones they had. They didn't have the regular ones. And I don't know what the regular ones taste like. I do not like the vanilla ones. I don't think they taste very good.
No, these are mid. I have my store brand cola right next to it. I wasted this practically. I'm going to just drink that. I think. I don't know.
It is like you said, it's mid. Like it's not, it doesn't taste terrible, but it just doesn't, it's not.
It doesn't taste good either.
I will never buy them again. I can tell you that.
No.
I might buy one more just to put it in the fridge to see if that works for me as well.
Give it to Mr. Cat's boyfriend. Yeah. Ooh, Cat, you should let his be like a little warm. Don't put his in the fridge. We'll put yours.
We'll do a control test. We'll each have a Nitro Pepsi.
Yeah. Don't tell him.
Open the warm one.
Listen,
As long as I do it in the next 6 months, you'll never know.
Put it in your fridge, Cat. Let it sit and then open it up. And if you still have issues, call your doctor, get tested for Parkinson's. I'm telling you, you got shaky hands. You don't know it.
No, you got to do it, Mr. Cat's boyfriend. And when you do it, Cat, look him dead in the eye and say, that's for Friday the 13th. That's what you do. How we handle this stuff around here.
Make sure he doesn't get into his Crocs, though.
Oh, I have an idea. How to get rid of some Crocs.
Leave those Crocs alone.
All right. Interesting drinks. Okay, we do have a text message.
You trace the call. It's coming from inside the house.
917-397-KILL. That's 917-397-5455. You can send in a text message or leave a voicemail for the show. Text messages are read by Ghostface. So here is the text message for this week.
Hello, listeners and hosts. Ghostface here with another text message from the mailbag. Hi, Slasher Radio. It's your Jersey girl, Amber. First off, hi, Rob. Namaste, my dear friend. Hi, Cat, you beautiful author. And now for the asshat, Mikey.
Wow.
First off, it's not about being on the show. It's about how shitty of a friend you are. Who's had your back? Me. That's right, me. I call in and give you props for growing Slasher Radio like you have. I do that. I tell you how proud I am of you and how you kept it going, but no, you had to make it as if I'm upset that I am not on the show for Terrifier 2. It was again I had your back, but you stabbed me in mine. You hurt my feelings and broke my heart, you crispy butt nugget.
Wow. Cat, crispy was not banned, right? We don't got to believe that?
I don't think so.
All right.
What about extra crispy butt nugget?
You're walking
it sounds worse coming from Rob.
Extra crispy. Like you go to KFC to get extra crispy chicken.
Extra crispy, but there's something wrong with you. All right.
Can you imagine Rob opening up a fast food chain?
We get a 10-piece crispy butt nugget, please.
That is totally what I would call the chicken nuggets at my fast food place.
God damn it, Rob.
It got in my mouth.
All right. Amber. We love Amber. Thank you for the text message, Amber. We appreciate Amber. Slasher Radio Hall of Famer, Amber.
That's right, along with Bobby Spitzer and Al Bundy.
And
soon to be another inductee into the Slasher Radio Hall of Fame. Coming up, we got a little over, about 2 months-ish or so?
About 2 months, yeah.
We do them in January, right? Or February?
January, I think.
January. This one got pushed back a little bit. It spilled over into February.
Yeah, we did it
because we had some scheduling issues with it.
Yeah, we did it a little later in January than we normally do, I think. But yeah,
we want to pick a date now.
That sounds an awful lot like making a plan, and that doesn't sound like us.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like it would help us. Future us will be very happy we figured it out. Why don't we just do it in the middle of the month? 2 weeks, boom.
All right.
Okay.
All right, so that the middle of the month would be the 9th and the 16th.
All right, so there you go.
2 weeks.
Prepare yourself. January 9th, January 16th, a 2-night event. The Slashies.
Boom. Breaking news here. Everybody let Bloody Disgusting know. I'm sure they'll be excited to write about it. Yeah.
Someone will go into the Slasher Radio Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that's true. Slasher Awards coming up. Amber, when someone is mad at me, I got to pick through a bucket. Like picture a big bunch of turds in a bucket, right? I'm just reaching down into this bucket to figure out what it could be.
A bucket of butt nuggets.
God damn it. Don't say that anymore. A bucket of them?
Oh, but just like KFC, you go get a bucket of chicken.
KFC should sponsor us with Cutwater. We're doing good work over here.
Crispy butt nuggets.
Moving right along. Yeah, Amber, I don't know what it could be though. Like when you send in these text messages and these voicemails and you're mad at me, that's fine. But you got to let me know what it is that you're mad about, because I don't know, because now I'm left here to guess. You know, that's the problem. Yeah, I thought it might have been the Terrifier thing. Yeah, I didn't know why you were mad at me this time. But no, Amber, I appreciate all your kind words. I do. You are one of the top, like ever people that have supported this show. Period. End of story. I don't care who you name. Amber is on the list of importance right up at the top. Hands down. And that does not go unnoticed, does not go unappreciated, and I love you very much for it forever.
Right there with Al Bundy. Big support.
The award's a little different. I'm saying just Amber herself. The fucking award. Al Bundy, man, out of all the people.
We got to get Ed O'Neill on the show. Can we get Ed O'Neill to come on the show?
He would be so confused. And don't think I haven't looked. He hasn't been in any horror movies or absolutely would have tried. But anyway, where was I even going? Yeah, no, I appreciate all that, Amber. But if I remember correctly, and it's pretty easy to do this because I think all of your text messages and voicemails, you kind of ding me a little bit, exception of maybe one or two. But usually you say my name all mean. I feel like I'm in trouble. I get scared. All these things occur. So, there's a little bit of defense mode there. But yeah, I didn't know why you were mad, Amber. I'm sorry. Where's my button? Wait,
what you mean I be banging?
Damn it, that's the wrong button. Why do I always do that?
I love that gabagool.
What were we saying, Kat?
Amber has a point, though. She was very supportive of the show. She always lets you know how proud of you she is.
Absolutely.
And here you are giving her a tough time about something.
You know what? You guys are going to make me go back and listen to the voicemails that we got to remember. Because I can guarantee there was good and bad there. I can guarantee. But no, it's always appreciated, Amber, when you say nice things. I appreciate it very, very much. Because it means more coming from you. How do you like that, too, on top?
The only thing I have to say is namaste.
You are annoying.
I really thought you were going to call me a butt nugget, and that would have been so funny.
No.
Is namaste better than butt nugget in terms of things we hear all the time from Rob? Yeah,
no.
right?
No, no,
okay.
The namaste thing is annoying. Do not approve. All right. Appreciate the voicemail, though, Amber. Thank you very much. The voicemail is supposed to be for questions. Amber's just coming on here yelling at me. There's not many people that get away with that. All right.
Well, look, I'm pretty sure the lost voicemail from my mother was just her yelling at you about not knowing how to open a Pepsi Nitro. So that's what this has turned into. It's gone from questions to a complaint line now.
And your mother also one of the people who can get away with that, though. This thing. She put up with you for how fucking long that woman could do with it. She should get a key to the world.
I was an angel as a child.
Okay. You know what? If you're just going to lie in front of everybody, where is it?
Bullshit.
Stop it. All right. Do I have to hit my button now?
Yes. If you would like to hit the button, that would be very helpful to me.
Get the fuck out of here! Yeah, go back to turning tricks and old folk and you'll pain in the ass! I love that gabagool.
Gabagool Mystery Corner. Our listeners are butt nuggets, and they send in Italian memes making fun of me for being Italian. I don't know why they do it. There's no reason for them to do this. I haven't provoked anybody. This is all just coming at me every week. We have to do this.
This one has been in the folder. This was actually one of the first ones to go in the folder. It's been sitting near the bottom of the folder for a long time. It was received again today. So I felt like now would be a good time to drag it out of the folder.
Also, Mikey, you're not allowed to call the listeners butt nuggets.
Do what I want.
Oh, this is one I sent to you.
God damn it. Rob Humphrey.
To be fair, Mikey, once again, I was merely acting as a middleman. It came from a listener to me. Yeah, I don't know. This is happening more and more where people are sending them to me and then I have to forward them on to Kat.
Robert.
And where are my balls?
Humphrey.
What am I supposed to do with them? They come to me and people say, can you please send this to Kat? Well, yeah, sure.
Why?
DMs closed again?
Yeah.
Sometimes Twitter just like closes my DMs and I don't realize. Okay.
What the hell is that, man? Why can't they just message Kat?
I know. Listen, I don't know, but and I figure if they specifically say send this to Kat, then I send it to Kat. If they don't and they just send it to me, sometimes it goes directly to you.
Yeah, I've noticed that this week.
Rob messaged me today and he was like, he said he couldn't remember if we had done it. I actually had to check because it looked very familiar, but it turns out why it looks familiar is because it's just been sitting in the Gabagool Mystery Corner. It lives on my phone for
this whole thing is getting very confusing. We're going to need a spreadsheet soon.
We're going to have to release an official collection of Gabagool Mystery memes.
This is ridiculous, man. I'm mad that this is happening in the first place. I don't want to lose sight in that. through all this. But whoever does more than one person do this, Rob, or is it like multiple people?
Multiple people. Yes.
Jesus Christ.
Yes. There are multiple sources sending me these. Yes.
All right. So there's multiple lazy bastards that I have to address here. If you can get in touch with Rob, you can get in touch with Kat. I don't understand why you would pick a DM that isn't the person you want to send it to send I don't understand this. And I don't get it. So this is aggravating in itself. Whoever is doing this, you're a lazy fuck and you need to get your shit together. All right. Obviously, you have more shit to work on than looking up damn Italian memes to send to this show. Right. That being said, memes go up on Patreon. I try my best to describe them on the show. What the fuck? My favorite part of Lunchables is the Italian Capri Sun. And it looks like a little packet of marinara that might come from a Lunchable. It would look like maybe for like the pizza Lunchables, right?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I'm thinking pizza ones, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, disgusting. And they have a Capri Sun straw going through this little sauce packet. And whoever did this is a rat master. Look at their fingernails. Look at their fingernails. You are a dirty person. Go wash your hands and stop making stupid memes on the internet.
That's the most investigation that's ever gotten done.
You really dug into that one now.
How do I miss it? Look at his hands. They're filthy.
He dug into it so hard that I almost feel like these could be his fingernails.
Ooh.
Are you drinking the Italian Capri Sun, Mikey?
My hands are never would my hands be that dirty. No, absolutely not. No.
All right. So you talked about the hands and stuff, but what you didn't talk about is the meme. Did you like it?
I just said I didn't like it. No, I didn't like it. Why would I like this? No. Stupid. I don't like it. There's nothing. Dirty hands are gross. This is dumb. It's disrespectful on top of everything else. And I don't like it. Yeah, no, there's nothing to like here. Alaskan Bear at Man Bear is why do we do this segment? Honestly.
The listeners demand it.
It's true.
They crave gabagool.
All right. Well, in other news, someone named, and I shit you not, they just joined our Discord and their name is Sweet Cheeks with the
What?
Z. Yeah.
All right.
So
Who was that?
I don't know. I just got that notification, but I felt it needed to be said on the show. They deserved a shout out directly on the show.
All right.
Their name,
welcome,
a gentleman
Sweet
named
Cheeks.
Sweet Cheeks.
Welcome to the Discord. You will probably not see me there.
Sure, they will.
Maybe.
You might see me there. I'm trying to get back. Discord locked me out again. It got mad at me and it signed me out. And I was like, I went to sign in the other day because I realized I hadn't been around for a while. And it was like, do you want to reclaim your Discord address? And I was like, nope. And just closed down. It's like, I would actually like to be back in the Discord at some point.
Fair enough. My problem with Discord is that I'm in about 17,000 different Discord channels and there's no way to participate in all of them. So I kind of don't participate in any of them.
You don't have to participate in all of them.
No, I know there's
the one that is part yours. What?
That's the one that interests me the least.
Yeah, so the one that's part yours, you might want to participate in a little bit, but you don't have to participate in all of them. Jeez. Anyway, join our Discord. We got a new member, Sweet Cheeks. I was sitting here bitching about this meme, and I heard the Discord sound and looked over in the corner of my screen, and I see wave hi to Sweet Cheeks. I said, oh.
Now, let me ask you that, because I don't know about is that locked to the Patreon?
No, but the patrons, anybody can join the Discord. And honestly, you should. It is a good time. Great people, great community.
Oh, yeah, I have so much fun in there.
Yeah, I have my trepidations as well when I open it and see new alerts and everything. Because you can also bully your hosts in the Discord. It happens a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, horror music, horror movies, horror games. A lot of people. Right now, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sweet Cheeks is one of them. 6 people in one of our VCs. Who knows what they're playing or watching.
What are they doing in there without one of us in there?
We don't need to be there.
I feel like somebody has to be watching these people.
Aggie's in there. Does that count for anything wrong?
Gonna make a mess.
Oh, real quick. This is going to be a long episode, but real quick, I feel like this has to be addressed. Kat, when you were gone And we had Chris and Aggie on to do, Ice Nine Kills. We were talking all that. Rob, this was a Patreon thing, so non-patrons probably didn't. I don't think this came up on the show. I don't remember. But remember when Aggie was telling you about Texas?
Yeah, vaguely. Aggie's always yelling at me about Texas, I feel like.
And the Alamo. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And Aggie's from Texas. She's all about Texas, loves Texas. Look at the new button that I got for Aggie.
Fuck Texas.
How beautiful is that?
Oh, nice.
Yeah, victory. But yeah, the Discord's a great place, great communities. Go check it out.
I kind of remember that. She was kind of proud of the Alamo. And I mean, I wasn't even really saying anything bad about it. I was just saying it's weird that it's right downtown. It's disappointing.
Somebody called it a creek. Can't remember if it was you or Chris.
I don't know. That wasn't me. But you go there, like you see it in movies and it's always like out in the middle of nowhere and stuff. And then when you go to visit, it's like right downtown. Like the Riverwalk is like a block away. There's like a McDonald's there. It's strange.
All right, though. All right, we're going to take a quick break and we will be right back with 2001 Maniacs, which, by the way, is an Amber pick.
Amber.
All right. Amber. I was wondering who nominated that. I thought maybe it was another Nesto pick for some reason.
No, but we will get back. We will get into that movie and all the movies that did and did not make it this month. So BRBs. Dude, this soda really sucks. Like, I shouldn't even have. First one that didn't make it from Leah. We love Leah.
Do we?
Yes.
We do.
All right.
Yes.
I do feel like I want to say Leah did something that was cool that I liked recently, but I don't remember what it is. So Leah, when rankings times come around, you probably aren't going to get credit for that because I always forgot what it was.
What a dick. You do not write this girl, man, about so much crap. And she does something good and you're just not going to give her anything for it.
I mean, I'm not going to remember it. What do you want from me? Everybody, look, you know what you're dealing with when you're dealing with me. I'm not going to remember when rankings come around in January, what the fuck you did in October, Like, it's just...
So we're not dealing with scoring. We're dealing with moments is what's going on here.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
But she did do something cool, so...
she did something else. She put up They Live, John Carpenter's They Live from 1968.
How come that didn't win? How did that not win? Because people don't want us to watch good movies on this show. That's why it didn't win.
This was supposed to be, for context for the patrons, we did offer a deal last week where if you chose a banger, we were going to choose a banger.
Don't call it that.
No, I'm not saying the other two specific words that Mikey said in the order that he said them. But
would you happen to be referring to a banger off?
I feel like Mikey doesn't get enough bleeps for saying that because he's the one that does the editing.
Here's the thing. All right, so I'm going to tell you right now. I don't like it when Mikey just says it, but when he plays the sound after he says it, it's pretty festive and I'm kind of on board.
That's how it's supposed to come off. Yes, it's a banger off.
I don't hate that.
That's what it was meant to be. No, Kat's right. I forgot to bring that up. This was supposed to be a banger off.
I do want to I brought it up so that usually the patrons don't want us to watch good movies. That's very seldom how it goes on the show. But this was a week where I feel like we could have voted through They Live, like that. That feels fine.
Yeah,
that feels good.
That's a good movie. I like that one. Roddy Piper in there and shit.
Yeah. And in case anyone missed last week, when the banger off was first introduced, we need with the movies we've gone through and all the damn Ring movies as of late, we needed a strong movie. When we say we need to pick a banger amongst ourselves when we're talking about what the hell the next movie for the show, sometimes we need a banger. We need a good title, strong title. We don't gotta love it, but it's got to be enough to talk about in like a really big movie, grab some eyes and stuff like that. So we needed to do that anyway. Partly because of us, partly because of the patrons. It's a whole thing. But that was the idea, man. Every Christmas we do that where the patrons pick a holiday movie. We pick a holiday movie and, they go head to head. We were going to do that here with the bangers. And let's just say not everybody participated, but Leah did.
Leah did. It did.
Yeah.
They Live is definitely a banger. And spoiler alert, Roddy Piper is all out of bubble gum.
Next one that did not make it for this month is from Greg.
I love it.
And he put up Bodies, Bodies, Bodies.
Boy, he really wants that movie to make it.
He does. And honestly, though, it kind of fits, right?
I mean, first of all, I think it's a big enough title. Like enough people are still talking about it that it would have fit that area of need for the show. As to whether or not it's a banger, what I will say, I really respect Greg going to bat for a movie that he believes is a banger. That was the prompt we gave. Greg went for it. I appreciate it.
And he's not giving up on that movie. Like, he just keeps putting it up there. Just month after month, Bodies, Bodies, Bodies.
We would have had to have some words, I think, if Bodies, Bodies, Bodies had won. But I do respect it as an option.
Yeah. The good news is it's a great Pride Month choice, so we could do that maybe.
It is not. No.
I mean, the Pride movies we pick, this one seems to fit right in.
See, I don't like Bodies, Bodies, Bodies either. But it's a big title, though. Is
right, it is a big title.
People listen to us shit on it and they'll get mad at us shitting on it and be back and forth. So it unfortunately can participate in the banger off. All right. Next one that did not make it was from Carly, who is our newest patron.
Oh, Carly.
Yeah. So here, let's see. This is her inaugural Patreon pick here. We're going to see where things are going with Carly right now. And they had a little message with theirs. I suppose I'll actually nominate a movie that I consider a banger. Ginger Snaps 2000, if y'all haven't done it already.
All right.
That's a really good choice.
It's a really good movie. Yeah. It's not as big a title, I feel like, as the other two. It's a really good movie.
And it has a really big cult following.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people really love Ginger Snaps. I say a lot of people, like, I'm not one of them. As we know, it's not part of my favorite, like subgenre, but I do think it is maybe my favorite, like, werewolf movie.
Dude, speaking of that subgenre, have you all seen that Wolfman trailer?
Yes.
Holy God, it looks terrible.
It looks real. I want to believe in it because it's Lee Winnell. And you know how I feel about Invisible Man. Great suit. But unfortunately, Wolfman looks really bad. But I couldn't tell if it really looked bad or if I just don't like wolf movies.
No, it looks bad because I don't mind werewolf movies. Like, I think they're fine. And I was excited for Wolfman because I liked Invisible Man like you. And I was like, all right, Lee Winnell did a great job with Invisible Man. Let's see what they got with Wolfman. Let's keep this Universal thing going, man. I really want this to work. And I saw that trailer before Smile too. And I was just like, holy God, this looks terrible. I hope I'm wrong. It's just a trailer. I could be wrong, but it's not looking promising.
Trailers look bad, and
there was also a comment on Carly's nomination.
A little back and forth, huh?
A little bit.
Welcome to the Patreon, Carly, where no one's safe.
Yeah, welcome to the Patreon, Carly. The response was from Greg. Yeah. But Greg was nice. He said, that is a banger and the best, in caps, best werewolf movie ever made. What say you guys?
I agree with Greg sometimes, but
Greg is a big fan of that movie.
Sometimes I like agreeing with Greg. I like when crazy takes line up, but after Bodies, 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 it's rough to be like, I want to side with Greg. No, but I do agree. This is my personal favorite werewolf movie. I was just ranking werewolf movies the other day, and it's like, putting together a top 5 list was like pulling teeth for me.
Were you just doing that for fun? What are you doing?
Yeah. Well, no, I was actually defending Wolf Cop because I was like, it's in my top 5 werewolf movies. And then someone was like, name your top 5 werewolf movies right now that Wolf Cop is on there. And you know what? Another Wolf Cop also makes my top 5.
I mean, I'll be honest with you, Wolf Cop might be the best werewolf movie ever made. No, I like Ginger Snaps a lot. It's really good. I struggle with calling it the best because an American Werewolf in London exists. The Howling exists. I like The Howling a lot.
An American Werewolf in London is my second one. And the thing with it is that I like it more. I watch it more often, but my favorite part of that is the zombies, which makes me feel weird counting it as my favorite werewolf movie.
Well, that can't be your favorite. I mean, that transition is amazing.
The transition is really good. The wolf at the end.
The wolf leaves a little to be desired. Yeah. I don't know if it's the best. It's in the conversation for sure.
Yeah.
The next movie that did not make it, we got 2 more here. And it is from Tasha. And she says, well, this would be a perfect time to nominate Graveyard Shark if it hadn't already been covered.
Mm-hmm.
And she put a little emoji after it, Rob, like, like a thinking emoji.
Oh, nice.
No, I don't like that.
Graveyard Shark was a banger.
She told me that she nominated a movie and I was going to love it.
She didn't lie. Tasha then writes, so instead, 2017's The Shape of Water, Rob.
Right. Look, banger. Absolute 100% banger. Love
Fish
it.
banger, you could say.
Damn it, cat. We should 1,000% be watching and talking about The Shape of Water. As a matter of fact, let's suspend this recording. Let's all go watch it together and then we can talk about it.
All right. Look, it cannot participate in the banger off because it's like, it's a banger of a movie. Sure, it's a very good movie, but it's not a horror movie, Rob.
The best horror movie ever made.
We're going to have to do this eventually, Kat. We're going to have to talk about Shape of Water on the show.
I really don't mind us talking about The Shape of Water on the show because it opens the door for us to talk about poor things on the show outside of my birthday month, which I'm a fan of. I like that.
All right, well, we do poor things when we have to do Twilight.
Okay, whoa. Let's roll that one back.
What the hell's wrong with you?
Pretty soon, we're not going to be a horror podcast at all.
Yeah, what are you trying to do here, man? With a love show. Hell, that's Prison Love with Rob and Sexy Time with Rob. We need to do another Sexy Time with Rob soon.
I don't think we should do that just yet. Carly just signed up for the patron.
That's the thing. Every time we get a new patron, we end up doing it by mistake, and we didn't even do it this time. It's kind of because it's like we just throw them in the fire. Say, look, if we're going to find out if you're going to stay right now.
The last few times haven't been that great. I got to be honest with you. The last few times we did it, I was a little disappointed in the submissions we got.
Yeah, Nesto didn't participate last time, man. That was a big loss.
Not at all.
And there was a comment on this as well, on Tasha's nomination as well, Rob. And it was from Leah. And it says, banger equals banging. They're referring to you fucking a fish, Rob.
I think so.
Yeah,
See, and that's why nobody likes Leah. She says things like that. She works in HR. How are you going to hang out with that person?
We love you, Leah.
She had an emoji too, the laughing emoji.
Yeah, I should be nicer to my HR colleague, probably, but
stop saying that. She's gonna make her mad.
I mean, we work in the same field, we have similar interests, probably.
She's gonna hit you
about making people follow the rules and scolding them when they don't. A good time.
Rob thinks that's what HR people do in their free time as like a hobby.
In my experience dealing with HR people, that's all they've ever done.
Wait a minute. There's a whole conversation that ensues under this thing. Oh, wait. Tasha replies to Leah's thing saying, oh, wait, is that not what they meant? And then Greg chimes in and he says, really? Grinding Nemo? And then Tasha replied with, I couldn't resist. I'm dying to hear this conversation. I know it's not horror, but.
It is horror, Tasha.
Wow.
And then Leah jumps back in and she says, if I had to choose between listening to how horny this movie makes Rob or watch fish actually fucking, I'd take the fish porn. Damn.
That's why nobody likes you.
She don't want to hear you talk, bro. She'd rather watch fish make love. Wow. All right. And we did have a comment on here. Speaking of Nesto, hang on. I think that was on this one. And oh shit. All right. So Nesto replied to the voting process of these movies and he put, damn it, I forgot. I'm going to have to queue up something good for the next one. And he put an angry emoji.
We didn't get a Nesto nom?
No.
Nesto.
I look forward to it, even though that last one that won Nesto wasn't very good, but I do look forward to his nominations.
I do too. But
I don't want him to win now. Like, please God, don't let Nesto win. But I do want to see what you nominate.
Yeah. But again, to be fair to Nesto, we always have to bring up, because of Nesto, we have Benny Loves You.
Yeah.
That is true.
And Leah responded to this with a Christmas tree emoji.
No. You can't do it. We're getting too close to the holidays now. You got to wait.
Yeah, I think you're safe until 2025, Mikey.
Yeah, the Christmas tree thing only works if it's in like April or some crazy time. That's the bit.
But honestly, that's kind of, if they want to win the holiday movie challenge, then, that's going to be a fan favorite there. That's going to have like oomph right out of the gate for if he really pulled off The Killing Tree.
I mean, I see what you're saying. The problem is we judge that, and I don't know that you would vote for The Killing Tree.
Yeah, but you guys probably would.
Depends on what we pick.
All right.
If we pick some garbage like we did last year, then probably.
I don't know. If we pick Santa's Sleigh, I might vote for the killer.
Santa's Sleigh, starring WWE superstar Bill Goldberg, is the automatic ace up our sleeve. That is the winner.
I hate it here so much. You don't have to remind us that it stars WWE superstar Bill Goldberg every time. You realize that, right?
I want to make sure we're, all talking about the same Santa's Sleigh.
And even if you want to remind us that Bill Goldberg is in it, you also don't have to remind us that he was a WWE superstar every time.
I don't know if people know who Bill Goldberg is. If you just say Bill Goldberg, they could be thinking maybe.
To be fair, I don't know who that is.
He's a WWE superstar.
I know him from Santa's Sleigh. So.
Mm-hmm. It's an iconic role.
Anyway, the movie that did win and that we're going to be talking about right now is Amber's pick, 2001 Maniacs from 2005. Robert Englund, whole 9 yards. Opening thoughts. What do you guys think?
Are those all of the movies that didn't make it, Mikey?
Oh shit! No. Okay. Thank you, Kat. No. Oh boy. Yeah. Okay. Last but certainly,
one of them almost won.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's true. This was saved for last on purpose, and I was thinking I was forgetting something when I was moving on. Yeah. The last movie that did not make it, Chris.
Hell of a deal.
Put up Ringu 2.
Listen, I think we have to have an on-air show meeting about this. Mikey, you've got to release that Cult FM episode. You've got to reinstate Cult FM, or you've got to start making deals with the devil, man. Like, we've got to get out of this. He has messaged me. I have reason to believe he's also messaged Rob to let me know how many Grudge movies there are, or after we run out of the 13 Ringu movies. And he's told me to talk to you about it. Like, I haven't been talking to you about it for the last 10 months.
Yeah. Yeah. This isn't going away is the bottom line.
We've got to get some kind of treaty going on here, Mikey. And it's your job to do that if you want to keep watching Ring movies.
Look, the reason we have to do the banger off is because partly, I'm not going to say like, I'm not going to try and sit here and say it's all Chris's fault or anything.
Yeah,
like,
you are not blameless.
I'm not going to blame it all on Chris. Understood. That's not what I'm trying to do here. I wanted to clarify. I do not. But there were like Ringu. We had to watch Ringu because of Chris. And the thing is, yeah, we did it to ourselves with 3 of them, sure. But like, I don't think the listeners know how close we come to watching another fucking Ring movie every month. And this month was almost another one because Ringu 2 was second in voting. It was lost by a hair.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, man. But I what I can tell you is, so here's the flip side of that. Chris has assured me this is not going to stop. Like Kat said, he's brought up the number of Grudge movies to fall back. And then he says, if we get through the Grudge movies, he has some really bad J-horror movies for us to watch. So there's also that. But the other flip side to that is he has assured me that he has really good picks lined up.
I'm sure he does.
If we get through all of this or this ends, but he feels like he cannot and he will not nominate a quality film until this is resolved.
So you've got to make peace with Chris. You've got to give him something. A Cult FM about Ring.
Yeah, Chris, he posted a picture of him in his Cult FM beanie.
I saw that today. Yeah, it's a good looking hat.
It is. Yeah. Look, Chris's dedication to the bit is incredible. Like, and everybody who is a true listener of this show knows we enjoy good bit. We're here for it. We will go along and we will live in the universe and we will have fun in the universe because we love a good bit on this show. But goddamn, Chris, this one, like, we did Ring on the show. The Ring on the show. We did Ringu on the show.
The Cult FM episode. That was the thing. That was the deal. You've got to give him a new deal. You've got to give him a better deal.
I talked about the Ring, man. Like, I talked about 4 fucking Ring movies. This year alone, in a quarter's worth of a year, I have talked about 4 Ring movies. I don't know what more you want from me, man. I don't know what to say. Look, how about this, Chris? It's a new year. Right? They have never had a Samara holiday movie, dude. In December, something's got to give. I don't know. In a new year, let's just turn over a new leaf. We've done 4 Ring movies. That's more than enough. I don't know how much more we could do here.
Don't ask that question because it's a lot. Chris is sending us a number.
The Ring 2 almost won. Yeah, I did forget about that one. I'm very glad it didn't, because that would have made like a very strange, like,
Rob threatened to quit the show.
Oh, yeah. There was a whole thing. Like, I had decided I can't do this anymore. If we have to watch another Ring movie, I'm going to quit the show, because you don't even need me here to do that anyway. Just copy and paste what I said about the last Ring movie into the new episode, because it'll be the exact same thing.
Rob just takes one full episode off every single month where we copy and paste this comment about
I was just going to quit. Like, fuck it. What am I doing here? Why are we doing this? I can't do it again.
Yeah, that's the thing too, man. It's the same movie. It's the same fucking movie. Over and over again.
Here's the thing. I understand how this sounds. I need you to listen to me. It's not the same movie. They get worse. We are through the best ones by a long shot.
Oh. So far, they've all been the same. We have basically talked about The Ring 4 times on this fucking show.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm glad it didn't win. So I'll say that. But does anybody have any opening thoughts on 2001 Maniacs?
Boy, do I have thoughts on 2001 Maniacs.
All right. Like what?
Not really the banger I was hoping for. So this movie's frustrating as hell, because there is a story here that could be interesting and fun. There's a cast, at least partial cast, that is really good. And instead we got this. I mean, this thing is garbage. I don't like this movie at all. It's a horror comedy that's not funny and it's not scary. They try to put these stupid jokes in all the time that aren't funny, and all that does is take away from anything that could possibly be scary in it. This was so bad. And this movie lost me in the first 5 minutes. It's so fucking dumb.
This your first watch, Rob?
No, I saw this once about 15 years ago. I hated it then too. But I went into it like, I was like, that's a long enough time, 15 years or whatever.
Yeah.
Like maybe, it's kind of like a fresh watch, like a new watch, almost like the first time. So I thought maybe I was, my tastes have changed since then, whatever. And 5 minutes in, I was like, nope, it still sucks. This movie's dumb.
Yeah, I'm kind of there with you. I didn't remember anything from this movie. I remember me and Bobby watched it forever ago, and who knows how that night was going. Like, I don't remember that movie really at all. But I remembered saying, I remembered not loving it, but I remembered, like being able to appreciate it, what I mean, or something like that. So I was like, all right, this is actually pretty good. Like, I need to rewatch this. Yeah, the rewatch didn't work out very well. I'm not crazy about this movie. I'm kind of in the same boat Rob is, where I didn't find it funny. Like, it's not my style of comedy. And it always seemed to be missing something, if that makes any sense.
And the thing is, it's not funny. And there are so many quote unquote jokes. Like, every line, every scene has to have something that they think is funny in it, and it's not. And it's so great. It becomes super annoying, super fast.
Yeah, I would agree.
This is not a first watch for me either. And I'm kind of with you guys, but not as strongly. I think this is it's one of those really dumb kind of, I don't want to call it like slapstick, but it very gag based like comedy that we've got. It doesn't really lean into the horror aspect real heavy, aside from the kills, right? Mm-hmm. Like there are a lot of very insane kills. That being said, and this is the kind of, when I say that I don't like horror comedies very often, this is what I'm referring to. It gets too caught up in the idea of trying to be funny that it doesn't let suspense build. And then the jokes aren't funny because we're getting too many of them. I don't really like this kind of movie This one bothers me a lot less than other comparable titles, especially from around this time. I thought the practical effects were kind of fun. The cast, well, the evil cast, I guess, I really liked. So it was kind of fun to see the cameos. Their performances, specifically Robert Englund and Lin Shaye, I thought were just like very fun. They were very hammy, very over the top. There was stuff that I enjoyed about this. And that's kind of a, it's kind of a surprise because I'm usually the hardest one on this type of movie.
So you hit the two things that I liked about this movie. Robert Englund and Lin Shaye. Robert Englund is having the most fun he looks like he's ever had in his life doing this.
Yeah.
And it's great. And Lin Shaye is not quite to that extent. She's a little more toned down, but she's still doing great, right? She's a lot of fun. The problem is you have those people and then you have this other cast, all of which are awful actors. They're just bad. So it's like, I don't, there are a few that are, you know, especially like you said, like the evil people, the townspeople, there are a few that are decent actors or whatever, but the majority of this cast is really, really bad at acting. Like they should do something else because this ain't it. And it's just really annoying. And also, is all the dialogue in this film ADR'd? Did anyone else notice that?
I did not notice.
It all sounded like it was recorded in a booth. It's at times it didn't quite match up with the mouth, just a little bit. And I was like, they ADR'd every fucking bit of dialogue in this movie. It was so. It's baffling to me just how unfunny this movie is.
I want to push back against that a little bit. Again, it's not the kind of comedy that I like. This movie was never going to get big laughs from me. But I think compared to some of the, I never remember what the numbers are. There's the one scary movie that really irritated me that has a lot of jokes like this that are just kind of, I don't know. This one doesn't bother me as much as some of the other ones. Some of the gags I think are kind of funny. Like I got a couple of chuckles out of this, and that's more than I've ever gotten from this particular kind of horror comedy, you know?
I did get a couple of chuckles, mainly at the same joke. There is a guy in this movie, the character's name is Hucklebilly, which I found hilarious. That's a funny joke. And they keep saying Huckleberry, and he keeps getting mad. And every time that happened, I would chuckle. Beyond that, nothing from me. I mean, it just doesn't work. It's stupid.
That one got me, and the banjo got me. In particular, because it was like, it goes through all of the phases of a bit that I really appreciate, where you're kind of like, oh, that's so dumb, you know, and you kind of laugh it off. And then it comes back and it gets annoying after a while. And then it goes full circle back to like, they are really committing to this banjo thing, which kind of got me. I also really liked because there's one in particular scene where both of them start singing in unison about what's happening now, where it like almost goes full scale musical, and it's stupid. But I got a chuckle out of me. Like there were chuckles to be had here.
Nah, I didn't. Hucklebilly's the only chuckle I got. You know, because a lot of the jokes are really just lame, like low hanging fruit. Like the guy trying to fuck the sheep or whatever that was. Like, all right, like that's not funny. It's not original. Like this is stupid. The banjo thing is fine, I guess, but it's also like, all right, well, there's a banjo in a movie, so somebody's going to mention Deliverance, you know, and sure enough, we got the Deliverance jokes. It's just like, this is so unoriginal and half-ass. And it's frustrating because I think without all that bullshit, this could have been a really good, just straight horror movie.
It is frustrating because there is a much better movie at the heart of this.
As a straight horror film, this could have been really good because it's an interesting concept. One I don't want to say we haven't seen it before, but one that you don't see that often and with a different kind of spin on it, you know. And instead they ruined this. It's like they were trying to not make a good movie.
Yeah, it seemed like that's what I think hurt it the most too. The comedy aspect of it was like old style comedy. And you're talking about a movie. When this come out? 2005,
I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, like you're talking like, and I understand it was set when, I understood, but it was still like the comedy itself, the style of comedy was very old school. It felt like I was watching Bad Three's Company. Rob, right?
Yeah. I mean, I can kind of see that. Yeah.
But Rob, my fellow Three's Company enthusiast, it's hard to come by those.
Yeah, except Three's Company's a fucking banger, dude.
It is. But, like this was not. And yeah, I don't understand how in 2005 you can put out this style of aged comedy in the way. It almost felt like it was trying to go for an Army of Darkness, but they missed the vibes.
They got more of like a Dead and Breakfast.
Even, and it did not work.
Yeah, it just at every turn I felt like this movie was it couldn't get out of its own way. A lot of times, like even the ending, like that's a really cool idea for an ending, right?
Yeah.
They go back and the town isn't there and it's just a cemetery or whatever, but they couldn't just let it go there.
They couldn't leave it alone.
Yeah, end the movie there. That's a great ending. But instead, they had to do the stupid thing with the motorcycle, and it's just like, this is so, you don't need that. You already had the perfect ending for this story. They just couldn't get out of their own goddamn way.
Yeah, it should have been the day after. Like, they should have come back after sunrise the next day. Mm-hmm. Because I do kind of understand where they're like, oh shit, that day is today. Like, it makes sense that would be the day that they're a ghost, but they've already come back and it's already gone and done. And like, the town shouldn't revert back to being a cemetery on the one day it's supposed to be magical, like it was sloppy and it was dumb. But I do think, I don't know, it would have been almost, and I'm not saying that this would have been a bad thing. I'm just throwing it out there. I think that the ending we got was a lot more tonally consistent with the rest of the film, because it would have been confusing if this had a good end. I mean,
you're not wrong about that. They fucked up the rest of the film. They might as well fuck up the ending too.
Like, but the fact that we needed just a couple more, like, not super impressive kills to round out that was kind of an issue that I did take. You were talking about it getting in its own way. Mostly that was with jokes. But sometimes it was also with kills. Like, we had to have a dream sequence because we're not getting to kills early enough, instead of getting, like, usually with horror movies, we get that one hook at the beginning, but we get a lecture about the Civil War. So then we have to have dream sequences so that we can have kills earlier in the movie before they get to the town. And it's like, and then even once they start killing people in the town, they have to, every time we get a cool kill, it's like, we have to have several explanation about where that person went so that nobody gets suspicious. And it's like, just save it for the festival or don't, but like, don't make us listen to all of this, and then they're Lynn Shay talking about Southern table etiquette for whatever reason really bothered me, where it's like, normally we would never start dinner without a person here. It's like, then don't start murdering people right before dinner, like start it after.
You murdered that person. You're the reason she's not here. You fucked it up. Don't tell me about it.
Or murder them in groups, because like they didn't know each other. There are like 3 different groups of people that are all like switching partners and sleeping around and stuff. And it's like, they're relative enough strangers that if you killed them 2 at a time, no one would have been suspicious anyway.
Although those 3 groups of people, they were all a good time, weren't they? Oh Lord, you hang out with those people. That's a fucking party right there. You mentioned the lecture at the beginning of the movie, and we pointed out Robert Englund and Lynn Shay. Peter Stormare plays the professor. He's incredible. He's a very small role in this movie. He's very good in it though. But it has this fact that gets pointed out occasionally, and maybe I hear it more living here. I don't know, but he points out that more Americans died in the Civil War than the first two world wars combined.
It's because Americans were on both sides of this war. I hate that fact.
Single most annoying thing that people say. And it comes up not often because I'm not like a history professor, but I hear it every once in a while. And it's like, of course they did. They were fighting each other.
That's the thing that drives me so crazy because, like in the first two world wars, we sent a group of Americans over to fight in a big war against other people. The Civil War, literally, America revolted. And because the North won, we got to keep them in the Union, which also means we had to count those deaths. Like we were the enemy in that war, too.
Right. Every single person who died in that war is an American. Of course, the death count's going to be higher. We learned that that was like one of our fun Civil War facts in school. And I had to go to the principal's office. You know what? Good on you, little cat. I like that.
The first time I ever heard that fact, I got so irrationally angry. Like, absolutely not. And then I had to have a whole speech given to me about how they're like not necessarily good sides and bad sides in war. And it's like, are you kidding me? Like, absolutely there are. Maybe not all the time, but in this instance, like...
Yeah, and I feel like, World War II, there was a clear good side, a clear bad side.
Oh, I hadn't learned about World War II yet. I would have gone back to the principal voluntarily for that one.
Yeah. It's just... look, that stupid fact actually works for the movie because they're talking about the Civil War, but it's just another instance where even when they pull like a good fact from history to embellish this script a little bit, they pull the wrong one that irritates me. And again, with something like this movie, if they had wanted it to be it would have been hard to get people invested in this kind of dialogue in a horror comedy. I understand, but it's like there was no one there in the class to push back about this kind of stuff, or to talk about, like, they introduce these themes into the movie, like the Confederacy and racism and classism a little bit, and then they just they acknowledge it. We have the Black couple that's staying in the hotel, and they mention that it's like not a comfortable place, that they never wanted to go to the kind of Civil War attraction or whatever they're calling it. And it's like, I think that conversation was a lot more interesting than either the horror or comedy that we were seeing on screen in either point. Yeah, but they're not exploring.
But it's a much heavier movie. So they just kind of pointed out oh, hey, is this funny? And it's like, not really.
Yeah, I will say the one good thing that about the ending of this movie, the stupid ending, is that the white people die, because I was mad as hell that they killed that black guy by these racist Confederate fuckers, and then they were going to let the two white dumbasses escape.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that stupid ending manages to kind of correct that problem, I guess, but I definitely would not have killed that black guy. First of all, he was one of the best characters of the survivors. He was the best character.
Yes, absolutely.
And maybe the best actor out of them all, too, because good Lord, did I mention these people can't act?
This is going to cut into my notes for the end, but while we're just talking about who we would have liked to see live and how the story could have been framed and where the interesting themes were, I know that this is already a remake, but we talk about how it's the bad movies that should be remade. I would love to see Jordan Peele take a crack at this one. Just throwing it out there.
Oh, yeah. I'd watch that. He would make it good, I bet.
I bet it would be really good.
I've never seen the original of this, so I don't know what that is like. Based on this, I have no real desire to go watch it now, but I don't know if it keeps that same kind of tone or not.
And kind of to Mikey's point, I actually thought the first time I saw this one, even though it had only been out for a handful of years, when I saw this, I thought that this might have been the original, because it does have that very old fashioned sense of the comedy didn't feel current. Right. Even around the time that it was made.
And to give them another, I guess, a point in the movie's favor, one other thing I did like about it was the setting. The set, I don't know where they found that or if that was something that they constructed. I have no idea, but it looked really good. like the town that they were in and everything. I'm assuming they've probably found that somewhere. I don't know, but I thought, whatever the case is, it looked really good. Like it looked like an old timey town.
One kind of knock that I have against the movie of a comparable level, I didn't like the costumes. They felt very costumey, which I think was part of the like fun at first, right? Where it's like, oh, it's kind of like a gimmicky attraction. And I think it kind of lured everyone into the false sense of security because they don't look like they're actually Civil War era people. They look like a crazy town that has all decided to dress in Civil War era costumes. Yeah. But then, with the twist at the end, it's like, why are ghosts wearing Civil War costumes? Well, it was like sexy Halloween store Civil War costumes.
Yeah, there was a lot of that. They do sort of the Crazy Ralph thing in this movie too, where like the car starts driving down and all these people just kind of come out of nowhere. And I was like, are those people, because you don't know at the time what's going on. You don't know it's once a year. And I was like, all the people in this town just sit around waiting on a car to drive by like all the time, day in and out. They're just hiding behind a bush, waiting on a car to drive by so they can surprise them. And if, by the way, if you're driving down the road and you see a detour sign and it's like half a log with the word detour written on it, don't go that way. It's not an official detour. They have actual signs like orange.
Yeah.
that let you know where the detour is. That sign is made by a hillbilly who wants to murder you.
Facts every time.
Every single goddamn time.
Every time. And it's kind of, horror movies need that though, right? Like, I get it, but again, man, the tones didn't work here. I don't know. Like, even for something like that, that's the thing. It's almost like nothing fit here.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what you do with that. Like, we do sometimes I actually like the discussions we have when it's like, what can make a movie better?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you start with this movie, you have to start by picking a lane. It has to be, and this is true of most horror comedies because most people don't get it right. You either are making a comedy or you're making a horror movie. And I think either way, if you had leaned into the comedy and just made a comedy, maybe it probably would have been better than this. If you had made that, and I do believe if this was a straight horror movie, it was actually supposed to be scary and stuff. I think that they could have made a very good one based on this concept. So I think that's where you start. And that's the problem with most horror comedies. They either lean too much into the comedy and the comedy doesn't work. And so it kills any horror in it. There's a real skill in making a horror comedy like Shaun of the Dead or Tucker and Dale versus Evil. Those movies don't come around that often.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's why we talk about those two so much because, we don't see them.
Yeah. Or Rubber,
Let's not get carried away. Yeah. It's not funny. It's not scary. It's not, if it oozed like Army of Darkness is a good example as well.
It's a very good one.
Very good one. But also very cheesy of a movie, obviously by design. But it had a lot of aspects of horror, and not you're talking Evil Dead franchise, like obviously it's not at the top of the list for that stuff, but it was there though, and it was present and it was up front, and you were able to see it. And it also had two great films, before it that hit all those notes. So you had that history there, so it's a little different. But at least you could see it. Like this didn't even have one of those things where you could be like, oh, well, it was a good horror movie because like it didn't even have that.
I was going to talk about like a proof of concept idea because the Evil Dead had, two good engaging movies before we got Army of Darkness. What this needed most was an Ash. Like there was nobody to root for in this. There was nobody charismatic or interesting or
no.
Yeah, that's what I was getting ready to say. Unfortunately, there is no Bruce Campbell in this cast.
Yeah.
No.
The most compelling character, the most interesting character in this cast is Robert Englund, and he's the bad guy.
And the second is Lynn Shay, and she's also the bad guy.
Yeah. And then the third is Peter Stormare, who was the professor that was in the movie for 3 minutes. And then you get to finally the one survivor that you could root for, the black guy. And I'm sorry, that guy, he was fine.
And I don't remember his name because he didn't have enough screen time. And
right. And I didn't even dislike his performance. He's not, I would put him in the better half of the actors in this movie, but he's not Bruce Campbell.
No.
No.
So yeah, you gotta have somebody you can in a movie. I mean, that's what drives Army of Darkness, right? It's Bruce Campbell's performance. It's the character of Ash. That's what, you love about Army of Darkness. He's amazing.
But if we had sent Ash, and that was the thing that got me thinking about it, because like if Ash had been in this weird Confederate ghost town, I would have loved to see that, and we could have had a big showdown, and it would have been entertaining.
If they had done that with the Evil Dead franchise, that would have been so amazing. Just sending Ash to different time periods, while he's trying to get back home. Oh, how great would that have been?
Yeah, that'd be really good. Probably also would have got, I don't know, maybe it would have got old fast. Who knows? You got to keep doing that right. Worth a try, though. I agree.
Isn't that what they're talking about? Like the Predator franchise is going to be now?
Yeah.
Because Prey was so good. There's like going to be Predators in different times. I'm down for it. I think I'm
here.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm here, man. Look, is it a concept that reminds you of something? Like it just automatically brings you like Ernest Scared Stupid and all those movies. And it feels like a cop out, but at the same time, dude, Predator is such an iconic character and the original movie and just his being is so valuable to the horror franchise for some reason. But it is. I would rather you do something that we want to see than, hold out and we get nothing, especially if you could do it right. Like, cause Prey was really good.
Prey was awesome. And I would like to see more horror movies go to different time period. We don't see that a lot. And when we do, it's always the 80s. Like I'm fucking over that. Please.
Yeah.
I always thought a really cool movie would be like a slasher movie set in the Old West. I think it would be fucking great. They had all kinds of shit in the Old West you could kill people with.
Nah, I'm not. Nah. But again, if it's done right, who knows? But I don't know.
Fucking like Michael Myers murdering fucking cowboys. Oh, that'd be great.
No, we put Michael Myers in different times and frames and you got mad.
Trick or treat, motherfucker.
I don't want to hear it.
I'm not saying actual Michael Myers. I'm saying a dude like Michael. Like I think it'd be fun. Or fucking put him in. I don't know where else you could have one, but it'd be a lot of fun. I think nobody ever. The Old West is very cinematic, and there's a lot of shit you could kill people with back then.
I'm not here for that one.
All right, well, fucking don't buy a ticket. I won't watch it.
I won't. I don't know, man. It just this didn't do any of it right. Is like the biggest crime here. Like it didn't do any of it right. And that's a big problem when you're.
Yeah, it's all over the place. It's like I said, it's so frustrating because I can see, I'm not on screen. I can't see a good movie, but like in my head, like with this concept, I can see something that could be a really, really good movie.
It does make me wish that one of us had seen the original because I'm curious to know if it was better. I feel like it's not, right? But maybe.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't want to be the one to have seen it. Like, and it sucks is, hey, maybe it is better, man. Like I could be sitting here looking like an idiot because it's a great movie. Like, I don't know. But if you see something like this and it's not exactly making you want to watch the original that badly.
Yeah. I mean, I'm reading the description of it now and it sounds exactly like the plot of this one. I mean, it's the exact same thing. I can't tell if it's listed as a horror comedy or not though. Why does it not say that anywhere? Let me go over here. I'm just seeing it listed as a horror movie. Maybe it's better. I don't know.
The hopes are not high is the point. So I don't know, man. It's hard to make a movie when you're trying to do a lot of different things and you're not hitting any of them. You're going to have a bad time and you're going to get something like this. I think that's just like the short and sweet of it all, honestly.
Yeah, well, you have to have a consistent tone and a consistent vision. And I don't think this movie has it.
It does not. No.
What it does have is Robert Englund having a really good time, though.
It does. It does have that. And you cannot take that away from the movie. Yeah, because he is great. Lin Shaye is great. Pretty much everybody else kind of sucks.
I also, side note, I would like to see Lin Shaye get to be more evil and more stuff. Because it does seem like she was having a fun time with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she did look like she was having a good time with it. You know what else? It also has Eli Roth.
It does.
Yeah. It's funny that he was a producer on this because it gives very hostile vibes at points, right? Like keeping the stupid young men around with the hot girls and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
and he shows up in the movie with a little cameo.
I was going to bring this up about Robert Englund too. And this movie gets talked about a lot. Honestly, it's always felt like, that movie that people who think they're horror fan, you know what I mean? Like that over extra horror fan that's like wants to, I know everyone talks about obviously Nightmare on Elm Street and everything. And then anytime Robert Englund comes up, what about this movie that nobody talks about that he's in? It's like, yeah, well, nobody talks about it because it sucks. A lot of people talk about Nightmare on Elm Street because it's really good. And, we know about this movie, dude. Like, it's just, it's not that good, but a lot of people end up praising it and kind of acting like it's more than it was. Is it the Robert Englund effect? It has to be, right?
I think it's really funny that you brought that up because I watched this in 2008, 2009, whenever, because I knew that it had Robert Englund in it. And I literally had not thought about it until this week. Like I had seen it. No one's ever brought this up to me. I feel like I don't hear about this one ever.
I hear it come up every once in a while. People tend to, the people that you hear talking about it tend to like it too.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's weird.
And I don't know. Like sometimes people like a movie that you don't, and you can understand why they like it, right? Like you're like, oh, okay, well, I mean, I can see what they like. It doesn't appeal to me, but I can see why there are certain things about this one. I have no clue. Like I'm just clueless on it. Like I
feel like if someone told me that they really enjoyed this, I would know a lot about that person's comedy preferences, right?
Yeah.
They don't know what funny is. And that's a perfect way to put it though, Rob. Honestly, it's like, all right, I could see why you like this. Got it. Understood 100%. But something like this, yeah, no, dude, I'm not. I don't get it. Like, why would you? Well, what about this does it for you? I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't get it. And Kat, you mentioned the practical effects and stuff. I mean, I didn't think they looked very good. Like they were like okay, I guess. Like
they were just there.
Yeah,
they were fun, is how I would describe them.
Some fun ones. But
I think the practical effects were maybe the most consistent element of the movie tonally, because they were always very exaggerated. They were very, silly. I don't think any of them looked bad. They're the kind of effects and deaths, for that matter, that I want to see in a silly horror comedy. And I wish they had nailed other aspects of that as well. But
yeah, I mean, I guess so. Like
they were a strong point for me.
They weren't for me.
The guy's eyes popping out when he got crushed by the thing, I thought that looked like crap. But you're right. It does sort of add a cartoony effect to it, because that's kind of what it looked like. It just looked cartoony. And that's kind of the movie they're making, I guess, And
the eyes in particular reminded me a lot of the balloon kill from Stitches, which was also had very cartoony deaths. And it's like, I could see that that's what was being attempted here. I thought they landed those kind of visuals more than they landed a lot of other elements of the movie. I don't know.
See, the effects, and I noted the effects to bring it up because I did want to talk about it. Obviously, for something like this, you're not going to get that. We'll talk about the budget later when Rob goes through the facts, if you remember to do it this week.
Oh, I did it as we were talking, but yeah, I did it.
Again, okay, nice. Yeah. Nice. But yeah, I don't assume this movie had a ton of money, and regardless of, you don't see it on screen. If anything, it had to be to pay checks for Robert Englund.
Yeah, you do. His name's Robert Englund.
There you go. But it's not shown on screen. Absolutely not. And the effects, they didn't. You're going to need to bring that passion through. And they're going to have to be fun, and you're going to have to see how much fun they had doing it. To me, I didn't get that here. Like, I didn't, like, yeah, sure. They, I've always said I'll never tell. I'm sure a lot of work went into it. Like, I'm not saying they looked fine. They looked okay. But that type of fun and passion didn't come through in this movie for me in the effects.
All right. I think that's fair. It's hard to say that, like, 'cause I do feel outside of the, like, 2 or 3 performances that have been mentioned, I do feel like the practical, like the special effects here were the strongest element of the movie for me. So it's hard to knock them. It's like, I feel like they tried harder than the writers or, like a lot of the actors. But I will say, while I liked the special effects in this movie, I am not going to rave about them and give like a lot of extra points like I would for something like Terrifier.
Right.
Even I think we talked about this when we were talking about Terrifiers 2 and 3, where I feel like they were less consistently good in Terrifier 2, even than they were here. But you do feel that passion. They're really fun. Even when they don't look the best, you can tell, like how crazy they were getting with them. And you knew that was why they didn't look the best. And I would always kind of take that passion over. This looks very put together. And that's not always what you want to see,
Yeah. And I was actually going to bring up Terrifier, but Rob last week or the week before about how annoying Terrifier fans have been. So I didn't want to be the one to bring it up. But since it's been brought up, that is a great example. Terrifier is a perfect example of that. And, there's other movies too. The Army of Darkness, The Evil Dead 1 and 2. These are all movies that you can just see the love that went into them, the creativity. And they like movies like that do that, have that like almost like we can tell they're fans too. Because they pay attention to little things. They go a little further to make it more fun. They kind of know what us as horror fans are looking for in these scenes and in these effects. And I don't know, they just felt like they were there.
Yeah.
In this movie. How do you feel about that, Rob? Terrifier? Yes, agreed.
I agree that fans are really annoying. Boston Red Sox fans of horror.
You son of a bitch! Stop it.
I think that Kat hit something really, really important in that they do look cartoony and that is sort of the tone of the movie. And I think that might be the biggest disconnect that I have with the movie. I went into this hoping to watch a horror movie. And I think they were more interested in making a comedy that happened to have some horror elements more than anything else, because it's just so silly. And there's so much silliness in it, but not like fun, like just stupid silly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the effects are kind of that. They're just silly and like kind of stupid. And I mean, that's fine. It's just not what I was looking for in this movie. And with the premise that they had, I just keep returning to that they could have made a really good fucking movie, but they made this instead. And it's just what it is.
It's a perfect way to put it, man. I agree. All right. Do we have anything else? And Amber too, by the way, send in another text message, voicemail, whatever you prefer. Let us know what you think. Cause I feel like during Greg's lives on TikTok at Darth Gregor, he does his horrors, pretty much just a general discussion about horror movies. He does, brackets and everything sometimes too.
Had me on there tonight. We talked about our 25 worst horror movies of all time. That was fun.
Oh, yeah. Oh, what? Damn it. I wanted to go through your list on the Patreon show. You want to run through your list real quick, Rob?
Patreon show was full of just good times. We didn't have time to go through that list. I can. I don't know. Now seems like a weird time to do it, though.
We can do it next week for Patreon if you want.
All right. Fair. You know what? I'll ask Greg and Amber to send theirs as well.
Okay.
So on the Patreon, we'll go through. God damn. Greg's 25. Greg's 20. I'm going to predict it now. Greg's 25 worst horror movies of all time has shit like I was saying to Rob while we were in between recordings.
The Blair Witch
Scream,
Project.
Jaws, like these great fucking The Shining, great movies. Fucking Greg. All right. Do you guys have like reviews?
I do. My last note that I wanted to give about this, though, because I do have one final thing. I tried to be as charitable as possible to this movie. We talk about this. Different movies have different vibes. I came in a little bit tipsy to watch this movie. I would have gotten a group together if I could have convinced more people to watch 2001 Maniacs with me. It was not a high selling point, but I tried. I went in as good a mood, prepared to have a fun time as possible, to give the movie the benefit of the doubt. The one thing that really gets me with horror comedies, especially the stupid ones, the really silly, over the top, cartoonish horror comedies, It's not funny to kill the pets. I don't know why I have to say this every time we cover one of these movies. Even the ones that I like have lost points for this. Stitches is just like, oh, you know, it'd be funny if we get like a cat plushie in here or whatever to bang against stuff. Like and it's one of those things where it's like, I don't even mind it so much in horror movies, you know, because it's like those are supposed to upset and irritate and whatever, you know, and they're like trying to get under your skin or whatever. But like, I'm just never going to laugh at it. It's not funny. And we wasted so much time to just chasing around random animals to kill in this, like as a bit.
To kill and to fuck.
Yeah.
That was, constantly going on. Yeah.
We do without that for sure.
And it's like, I know people think they're being edgy. Like, it's just, I get so tired of it, you know? That's like my last big knock against this movie.
Yeah, that way it was unnecessary. But again, they thought it was like edgy and funny or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just not. It's just stupid.
Just never is.
The only joke you guys got right in this whole movie was Hucklebilly.
Okay, so yes, but I do have reviews and scores and things. I actually have a little bit of a deeper dive into the scores particularly than I usually give because I had questions. As you can imagine, there were not enough critical reviews of this on Rotten Tomatoes to give it an official rating. It had 3 Rotten Tomatoes critics reviewed this.
Wow.
And I wanted to see, just out of curiosity, like, you know, who they were. None of the reviews themselves were particularly interesting, but for the record, 2 out of the 3 were positive, which just blew my mind because that's not the direction I thought that was going to go in.
Was one of them from like toocoolforyou.com or something?
No, they were all. One was from Los Angeles City Beat.
Okay.
One was from Black Horror Movies. Okay. And the negative one was from Real Film Reviews. I've never heard of any of these outlets.
No. I've heard of the Los Angeles City Beat, but
yeah, so that's what's going on there. The critics were actually leaning more positively than the audience. The audience score has a 48% popcorn meter.
Wow. 48%?
48% with over 5,000 ratings.
A lot of Robert Englund fans in there.
Yeah, that's too much. Look, I like Robert Englund too, but calm down, everybody. This movie's not. He's great in it, but this movie's not good. Talk about Tony Todd and how great he is in movies sometimes that aren't very good. You know, It's the same thing here. Robert Englund, he's very good. He's great in the movie. It's a bad movie.
I feel like he gave his Nicolas Cage performance
a little bit.
Right? Was that? I felt that like you guys give the B's on the Nick F. and Woo Cage cast. Like if you were to give it a Robert Englund Nick Cage score here, like it'd be pretty high.
A great score. Yeah.
He does. He's doing a great job.
It would have been tempered some because the movie did not know how to use him.
That's right. Yeah, that does count too.
And that's the thing that usually Nick Cage loses points for is movies not knowing what the fuck to do in the presence of Nick Cage.
It truly felt like they just put Robert Englund. Robert Englund showed up. It's like, look, all right, what you guys are doing here, to be honest with you, kind of sucks. So what we're going to do is you're going to say action and I'm going to do what the fuck I want.
Well,
he just kind of went.
We say that about Nicolas Cage a lot too. It looks like he's making a different movie than everybody else.
Thanks, dude. It does. And you know, he did what he could, but yeah, the movie's not good regardless. They need to stop that.
He's in there doing the heavy lifting on this thing. It's just, this thing is a pile of junk and he can't lift it himself.
And it's not even like, you know, Robert Englund, you know, everybody's going to be nice to Robert. Like, no, dude, it's just what the movie is. I wish it was better. I would like to watch something better, but we got to call it how it is, man. Robert Englund did. That's true.
Yeah, he's fantastic. And then Lin Shaye too. She's very good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
She has, her character's a bit more toned down. So she jumps off the screen as much in her performance, but it's still very good.
Okay, so the IMDb score, it has a 5.3 out of 10.
That's over 50%.
That is over half.
That is just,
okay. A lot of Robert Englund fans.
Okay, so our winner this week for best review title is 7 out of 10. This is what the monkeys meant by a Pleasant Valley Sunday. ...
Oh,
Not.
God. Oh, God.
Can we go candy bar? Are we? Does he got one?
The review was really terrible, but I had to read that review title, so I felt like I needed to share.
I don't know if I can give a candy bar just for a title, but that's really bad. And that's a good
bad
song.
title, though.
It's a good song by the Monkees, too. I'm recalling it for this movie, but and speaking of monkeys, you know, there's fucking monkeys still running around by my place. You guys see that bullshit?
Yeah.
43 fucking medical testing monkeys. And I'm like, goddamn fucking 28 days later, monkeys running around here. And when it first happened, I was like, it's like 90 miles away. It won't be a problem. They still haven't caught all those fuckers. So I'm just going to come knocking on my door at any minute. The goddamn outbreak monkey's going to be out here.
Someone in my real life said to me, they said, did you hear about these monkeys? I was like, oh shit. Because I didn't open the article you sent, but I got the gist. I said, oh shit. Yeah, that's by my co-host, man. He lives in North Carolina. He moved over there. He's like, oh my God, are they all right over there? I'm like, I don't know. I haven't heard from him since. Could be dead. Don't know. The monkeys might be taking over the world.
Yeah, they're like fucking lock your doors and windows and shit. I'm like, God damn, these fucking, what the fuck do you shoot these monkeys up with? So, yeah, I don't know what's going on with them. Last I heard, they caught one of them. So there's still 42 fucking monkeys running around somewhere.
Oh, well, at least they're making progress, right?
Yeah.
Oh, one of those little bastards. That's it. Holy shit.
The other review that I pulled for the title, 3 out of 10, just another forgettable horror film trying to be cute.
True.
Which I thought was interesting because that's not the read that I got on this. I never once was like, oh, they're trying to be cute here.
I mean, they kind of were in certain spots. I don't know, like the silliness. I don't know. That's what I took. I agree with it.
All right. But for proper reviews, here's our negative one. 1 out of 10. One of the worst films I have seen in my entire life.
God damn.
Right.
This film was absolutely dire. No redeeming features whatsoever. Total crap. Why earth anyone would find this film remotely scary of funny is beyond me. In fact, why would anyone make this rubbish makes no sense to me. The fact that Eli Roth put his name on this should have been a clue to the content of the supposed comedy/horror. I'm just glad that I didn't actually pay to see it. The soundtrack was something else, though. The South is Gonna Rise is one of the most grating, cringe-inducing pieces of music I've ever heard. All the people involved in the production of this film should hang their heads in shame. Abysmal.
I mean, it is a bad sign, at least for me, when there's a horror comedy produced by Eli Roth. I don't know Eli Roth. I never met the man. I've actually heard he's quite nice. I have a feeling what he finds funny and what I find funny are two very different things. And that evidence bears out in this movie. But yeah, that is a bad sign. Eli Roth, I think we've talked about this before, very hit or miss for me.
Yeah.
Okay. I tried to find a 10-star review for this, and I'll tell you now, I was not successful. I ended up reading almost all of the reviews of this movie that IMDb has to offer, and there just were not any 10s. I did find this 9 out of 10, though.
All right.
It's called...
It restores faith in humanity a little bit that there's no 10 out of 10.
That I couldn't find a 10 out of 10. Funny, gory, and gross. I loved this movie. It was funny, and the death scenes were just so freaking awesome. I highly recommend this movie to anyone and everyone. Good stuff right here. The people of Pleasant Valley were cruel and very unusual. You either were on the killer's side or the victims, but whichever way you go, this movie is still great. The ending was funny and gory. 2001 Maniacs was definitely a good Rebel South horror movie. 2001 Maniacs follows its original 2000 Maniacs very well. Stayed very true. The Twilight Zone twist was pretty good, so look out for it. The acting was mediocre, but overall the movie was great. 2001 Maniacs is a fun movie. You'll enjoy it.
There's a couple of problems here. First of all, if you say look out for the Twilight Zone twist, you've kind of ruined the fucking twist for anybody who hasn't seen it, because now they're expecting it. 2, you can't recommend this movie to just everybody. Like, that's impossible.
Everyone.
Not everyone is going. This is not a movie that's for everyone. You can recommend like E.T. to everyone. That's fine.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, most people like that movie. We probably got a pretty good hit rate on that. But this, I don't think so. Third, no, you can't identify with the heroes or the villains. And that
Thank you for bringing that up. That was the point that where I was like, okay, wait a minute. Hold on.
That might be part of the problem with this movie, is that the most interesting character, the most dynamic performance is coming from the head of the villains. And you should not, and absolutely just should not identify or be rooting for the villains in this movie, because not only are they horrible ghosts from the afterlife who are killing people, but they're also Confederate dickheads.
Which was kind of a thing that bothers me. I know I said I was done, but the movie does have this whole like Civil War thing at the beginning that it refuses to engage with. And, you know, we have all the Confederacy, like plantation imagery and stuff throughout the movie. And then the ghosts come back for one final kill as part of their revenge plot. And it's like, do the Confederate soldiers need a ghostly revenge plot? Like,
it's very weird.
And you can't even say that they're ghosts, that they're like both sidesing the issue, because they refuse to give either side here. Mm-hmm. And they're just like, it's revenge for all the Confederates that died. And it's like, okay, what did they die doing? Like, that's it's important to talk about in the project.
If you were ever in your life faced with the same choice that this reviewer was faced with, and you're not sure which side to side with, always side with the not Confederate side. That's always always the right choice. Always, I would say 9.9% or 9.9 times out of 10. That is the right choice. There might be one, a 0.1 time, but not really. So this is a terrible take. But I do think that it stems from a fundamental problem with the movie that we talked about. The heroes are bland, and the actors who play them suck, and there's nothing interesting about them. So you are sort of forced to enjoy the villains more.
It is more fun to watch the villains. Yeah. I did pull one, my favorite review. No surprise, I pulled from Letterboxd today. It is rated 1 star. The review reads, Midsommar, but not good.
All right. I wouldn't have thought of that. You know, that's not the first movie that came to mind when I was like thinking of like comparables. But, you know, they're not really wrong. I can kind of see it. Yeah. I see it. I thought like Antebellum. Remember that movie?
Oh, yeah.
It's not a good movie either. Or even more like what was coming to mind a lot was like Wrong Turn. Any movie where people come in contact with hillbillies. You know what I mean? Like it's just kind of one of those. It's couched in what could have been a really interesting way, but they don't take advantage of that.
Yeah, that's maybe a better way to say it than where I was going with it. This is an interesting take on the inbred hillbilly, like cousin fucking deep South horror. Because usually we see that a lot. And you're right. We get things like Wrong Turn and, The Hills Have Eyes. And this was different, but not in a meaningful way.
Yeah, that's the thing. And it could have been. It could have been. It could have been, which again leads to what I've been talking about this whole episode, the fucking frustration watching this movie.
Yeah. All right. Trivia budget.
Yeah. Trivia. So we have an estimated budget of $3 million.
God damn. Robert Englund made fucking $2.5 million this movie. That's crazy.
The worldwide gross, $368,976.
Wow. That's honestly better than I was expecting.
It is sad to report there is no Danza in this movie.
Rob, you don't need to say that every week.
I had to put in extra work on that one too, because normally there's a website I can go to that'll tell me if there's a Danza. They didn't have an entry for 2001 Maniacs, so I had to scroll through the entire cast list looking for one.
Because son of a bitch.
This feels like the kind of movie that would have more than one Danza, but no, there are no Danzas.
I think there's a multiple Danza sighting. I was just going to say the amount of work you have to go through to look through the entire cast of this movie. Shit like this, it could be anybody, extras, stuntman, like who the fuck knows, right? Everybody involved in a movie. And no, you have a database, a Danza database for this shit. How?
As it was supplied
People
by a
care
listener.
about Danza.
Yeah.
These sons of bitches.
This whole thing came from a listener who sent it to me and said, hey, you might want to look at this. And I was like, mind blown. All right.
Slasher Radio really is a show for the listeners.
Yeah, it really is. It really is.
Fuck. It sure is, isn't it? It sure the fuck is.
So, but but no Danza. I did know. Did you guys notice Kane Hodder's very quick cameo?
I didn't. No.
Yeah,
thank God.
Very quick. And in the cast list, it literally, there's like the camera cuts to him. You see him standing there and then it cuts away. That's it. There's nothing else with him. His character's name is Jason.
Oh, Jason.
Yeah.
Kane, let it go. Please, Kane, let it go, dude. Please.
If you use some of your budget on Kane Hodder, you better use that footage somehow because he's a very busy person.
Very busy. Extremely busy. Way too busy.
Yeah. Fuck guy. But seriously, though, honestly, can he let it go? Like, is that fair? Like, come on, dude. Enough is enough.
I don't know that he named the character.
He named the character Jason. I think they wanted more people to recognize that it was Kane Hodder.
Yeah.
I understand. Look, I don't know if he named it or not, but like at some point, I would even sit there and be like, all right, guys, so now we don't got to name it Jason. If people get it, I'm fucking. I understand. It's okay. Look, can I do something else? Can you say that once, Kane, please? Jesus Christ, it's annoying, man.
In producer Eli Roth's cameo, he plays the same character he played in his own feature directorial debut, Cabin Fever, from 2002.
Oh, yeah. I was going to ask about that.
Yeah,
I love the character he played in Cabin Fever.
I don't remember his character in Cabin. Boy, you talk about a movie that hasn't aged well. Holy crap. This is funny, actually. I like this. This is either a remake or a sequel to 2000 Maniacs from 1964. Apparently, no one knows.
One or the other.
Yeah, it's a requel, right? They didn't
the original requel, 2001 Maniacs.
Yeah. Without this, we wouldn't have had Scream 5. No 5.
2001 Maniacs takes that. I'd be damned.
And finally, there was not a lot of facts for this movie, as you can tell. God. Robert Englund and Lynn Shay have also appeared in A Nightmare on Elm Street from 1984, Wes Craven's New Nightmare from 1994, and Wish You Were Dead from 2001 together.
Nice.
Okay. There you go. That is everything you ever wanted to know about 2001 Maniacs and probably more. And it was only 4 things.
Definitely, and then some.
Yeah. The most important thing to remember, no Danza.
Yeah, why are we even talking about a movie if it has no dances?
Stop looking for dances.
This is a database. I can just punch in the movie and it'll tell me. Why would I not look?
Except for today.
Whoever sent you that is a son of a bitch. All right. Who the fuck? Like, out of all the people to have one of those things, fucking Tony Danza. Good Lord. All right. So we got to score this thing, huh?
Oh, shit. Yeah, I forgot about that part.
Yeah. We do. All right. Do you have anything locked in, Rob?
Yeah.
Oh boy. All right.
I looked real hard for things to like about this movie, and I came up pretty short. There's one funny joke, and it's not even laugh out loud funny. It's like a chuckle kind of thing. Hucklebilly. Robert Englund, as we mentioned, is tremendous in this movie. His performance is the only reason you could even make it through this, or at least that I could make it through this movie. Lynn Shay was tremendous. It looked good. I thought, like the setting and everything, the town. I mentioned that. I liked that. Everything else was bad. All the other performances, for the most part, were awful. I don't know if they pulled up out front of a Home Depot and just asked everybody who wanted to be in a movie to get in the back of the truck and drove to the set, or what they did. It's really bad acting. The story is. The concept is there, but they don't take advantage of it at all, which is just extra frustrating. I landed finally at a 2.3.
2.3, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
That is largely Lynn Shay and Robert Englund.
All right. Kat, do you have one ready? You want me to go first?
Yeah, if you want to go first.
Yeah. I'm in the same neighborhood. Robert Englund, great. Lynn Shay, great. This movie didn't have much else, man. So, as much as it pains me, I'm going to have to give this an intentional score of a 1.9. The intentionally is not going to get over a 2 for me. And, Rob's right. It did have a bit of a concept there that you could have did something with. Yeah, like it had meat on the bone for that. It totally did. And that's even worse. If you're not going to bring it, if you have something there and you blow it, that's even worse than like, just like a run of the mill concept or maybe something that didn't work. And like, you can kind of maybe say, oh, at least they tried. You just missed in damn near every aspect of it. It's not funny. The effects, like I said, didn't hit for me in any way. I really felt that they were just there because that's what the scene was and you needed to make it happen. And yeah, 1.9. I don't know what else to say about this one. I feel like Amber's going to leave me another voicemail and be mad at me.
I wrote a number down. I cross-referenced some of my previous port noise. I feel like being generous, it got a couple chuckles out of me. I liked the effect. It had 2 really solid performances. I can go as high as a 2.4. Okay. The number I actually wrote down was just like a rookie 2, but I think I can go as high as 2.4 comfortably.
All right.
It had like a couple things that I liked.
That's fair. All right. So this one, 7.5 gets you a Slasher Radio approval. This does not meet that mark at a 2.2.
So that's the number we have to beat, which is a banger for next week.
Yeah. Hey, man, we put it out there. And we said, and I feel like this is a big enough title, like it might be a little bit more, underground of it, but it's still like a lot of people talk about this movie.
Robert Englund in it, like.
Yeah. Look, the patrons, this is their vote. They do not have to abide by what we say. We understand that, but this is how we were treating it. Okay. And if you guys didn't do it, you guys didn't do it. It's on you guys. And I think the enforcers of the Patreon should really hold the other voters accountable. And, that's amongst yourselves. We got nothing to do with it. We just had to watch what you guys make us watch. And that's what it is. Next week, though, we were talking about it. There might not be a show next week because Rob has a lot of stuff going on. So probably no show next week. But
I'm going to be moving and dodging monkeys while I'm doing it. So what's going on?
Rob's going to be carrying his furniture through the underground sewer system so he can avoid the monkey.
That's probably where they are. Don't go down there.
Fucking alligators down there. I'm not going down there.
That's true too. You're fucked one way or another. Yeah, so maybe no show next week. But I was talking about, make sure you subscribe to the Patreon. Make sure you go to the Patreon too. But subscribe to the YouTube because I'm going to be putting up our interview with Tony Todd from way back when. Little tribute video to him. So that'll be up there. Maybe I'll put that up on the feed too, like the RSS feed for the show. Just like re-release that week actually would be kind of timely. And then we have our banger for, hold on, I gotta get it ready for the banger off. And we were kicking around a Candyman title, me and Rob, while we were waiting for you cats. So we'll figure it out. We'll let you guys know. But make sure you follow us on Twitter because that's where we find out everything first at Slasher Radio on Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, and at Slasher Radio on Patreon. Tiers starting as low as $3 a month. Support the show, please. Support the show. We could do more banger offs if we had more people on the Patreon to support the show. So make sure you go do that.
But I vote for our banger to be bodies, bodies, bodies.
What are you, old Greg? What did you lose a fucking bet? What are you trying to do here?
Rob wants to keep it in the running. Like he doesn't want it to be too close of a race.
I'm curious. Would that do better than a 2.2 or whatever the fuck this got?
Yes. Not by much, but yes. What else? Yeah, I think that's really it. And I'm at Mikey's Dead on Twitter. You can give me a follow there if you want. Rob, what about you?
I am on Twitter for now at Radio Rob123. Blue Sky is starting to take off, and I'm starting to spend more time over there. Radio Rob123.
Pretty busy this week.
Over there also, I think. I guess that's how you find people on Blue Sky. I don't really know. And you can listen to the other show Kat and I do together, the Nick fucking Woo Cagecast. That is Nick effing Woo Cagecast in your podcast players. And we just released our episode on something. Kat, what was it? Do you remember?
Ghost Rider, Spirit of Vengeance.
That's right. Ghost Rider, Spirit of Vengeance. And coming up, we are going to be doing Stolen. So you're not going to want to miss that. Movie nobody's even heard of.
That.
Yeah.
No.
Is that the Ring movie of Nick Cage?
I don't know.
Is that what it is?
I don't know. But yeah, that's it.
All right. Fair enough. I would like to say I appreciate you not talking about my butthole on Nick F. and Woo Cagecast this week.
Why would I do that?
Because you did 2 weeks in a row.
You challenged me 2 weeks in a row and I did it.
We're not getting into that right now, but I would like to appreciate you not bringing up my butthole. But you guys did talk a little bit of shit about me, especially Rob, where you were saying I don't let you guys have fun or whatever.
Well, you don't let me talk about your butthole. You don't let me have fun.
If that is your definition of fun, you need more to do, man. You can go outside and play with the fucking monkeys, okay? How really find you, fucking lunatic?
You can find me on Twitter for now at cat_velour, VOLEUR. You can find me on Instagram or Blue Sky at catvelour without the underscore. Check out my website, catvelour.com. I've got a book out. I've got several books out. Go buy books.
Yes. Go buy all Cat's books. Yeah, even the ones that are about sharks and stuff that make me mad, you should still go support those.
Dude, Puppet Shark, the novelization is a banger. It's a banger of a book.
Can we watch Puppet Shark next week?
For the banger off? What do you mean? It's not a banger. We'll lose to fucking 2000 Maniacs. Can't do that.
That's the thing is that, first of all, I'm not 100% sure that we would. And second of all, if we did, it would be because you tanked the score.
Look, yeah, there's certain things that are going to happen here, Kat. Don't put me in that position.
I don't know, Kat. Okay. I've never seen Puppet Shark, so I think I might be watching it the whole time going, this isn't as good as the book. You know what I mean? Like
I don't know. It's got a lot of puppets in it.
I do like puppets.
Don't let Nick Cage around the Just saying.
That's why you're banned.
So we have, we're probably going to be off next week. We're going to have a Patreon pick after that. Okay, so scheduling is going to be a little weird. But what's coming down the road is you have to look forward to a Patreon pick. We're going to pick a banger for the second part of this banger off.
Can we push the Patreon pick so we do our banger first and then we can do the Patreon pick?
All right. Yeah.
Everything it just seems weird to have a movie in the middle.
Yeah.
And then we got to have the Christmas. What do we call it? The Christmas jerk off or whatever the fuck?
Okay.
That's the one.
I went through the whole show without having to open up a notepad, and now I have to type the outro.
You can say that, right?
I don't know. If you say it again, all right, but I'm warning myself that it's in here. So if it's said again, Kat?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. All right.
What about Christmas? Is that better?
Oh, that's festive and fun.
Yeah.
Christmas. End of outro. Yeah, so we have that coming up next month. We have the Slashies coming up the month after that. And in between there, we're going to be doing, what do we call those? The hot take episodes. We're going to have Greg in there. I do feel like mentioning, though, that Kat, with your book and everything, like, obviously we need to do Puppet Shark, understood. But I feel like it would be fun to do Puppet Shark and get another Paranormal Activity movie in, because everyone knows Kat's the mode of currency is shark movies. So this is the agreement I made. And this gives an opportunity for Mitsuka's boyfriend guy in 6 months to appreciate the next compilation that we have. I forget what. Pool cleaner compilation.
Yeah.
So we got a lot coming up. Make sure you're following us on everything to keep up to date. Good night from Slasher Radio.
All the best of Slasher Radio podcast.
If you're a podcast host, listen up, this one's for you. My name is Allie Jackson. I'm the host of Finding Mr. Height, a dating and relationship podcast that I've been doing for 4 years now, sharing my positive and practical approach to dating that's built on my own life experience. And I wanted to share another experience that I've had, my secret behind monetizing my show. It's called Red Circle, and I was just telling my colleague about how much I love their platform. With Red Circle, not only am I getting a seamless hosting experience, but I also love the support I receive in ad sales. It's not just typical ad sales either. It's targeted targeted opportunities based on my show and my life. And the platform is super simple. You just set your preferences and Red Circle matches you with sponsors that align with your show. You can vet every opportunity and their platform gives you great analytics. More recently too, my Red Circle team has brought me opportunities outside of my podcast on social media to really augment the podcast partnerships, bring them full circle. I just can't recommend them enough. If you want to give it a try, go to redcircle.com to get your free trial. That's redcircle.com for a free trial.